big mountain just comes right in front of me, boom, called Top Gun. And it just kind of came from the heavens. True Mother actually asked all leaders under 40 from Korea, Japan, America, Europe to come to Korea for 21 days. And we just found out about it like a month earlier in advance. And Damien and Milhan and Mari, they just received the direction, okay, send 40 to America. We didn't really know what it was about, if we were going to have it in Korea. During that time, there was a lot of MERS going on, and we couldn't even get to Korea. But they really had good foundation of faith. You know, last week, Victor talked about foundation of faith. So they prayed about it, and they mobilized without, I mean, there was struggles, but, you know, they had a lot of faith. So I commend them on that. Me, on the other hand, I looked at that mountain, and I'm like, so you want me to go to Korea for 21 days? I'm like, oh God, what am I doing? So, you know, I went home and I talked to my wife, and I went a little bit like, hi, sweetie, so just found out today about this thing that your mother wants us to go to. It's a leader's thing. And her reply was like, don't go, it's a trap. They're going to make you the leader of some weird country or something. And I was like, oh, but I have to go. I'm kind of a big deal at headquarters, you know, like I'm in charge of the media department. And like, no, you're not. You're not a big deal. You're not a leader. So here's this big mountain in front of me. My wife didn't really want me to go. I didn't want to go, really. Had to, 21 days. I've never been away from my family for more than a month like that. So I bought my wife a nice lunch, kissed her goodbye, hopped on a plane, and landed in Korea. Welcome to Top Gun. Here's the airport. So now, we just talked about the preparation. A mountain just came down. Oh my God, what is this? And now I'm at the base of the mountain, and here are the group of people, my friends for the next month, my family. And we arrive at Cheonggpyeong, and they gave us their nice little packets. These are UPA cadets. They're probably going to be here next year on February. So please take good care of them. They took really good care of us. So they gave us our packets. We sat in the room, classroom style. This fellow on the left is Dong-sung. So Damien and Dong-sung work together. He's on the Korean side. He's also a UPA cadet. And we just kind of mobilized people to Korea, but we really didn't know why we're there. And while we were flying, Damien and Dong-sung and the team, they figured out the purpose of this workshop. And that purpose is written there on top of the board: to be leaders of integrity and inherit a deeper heart of love for Heavenly Parent, true parents, and humanity. That's a great purpose. But I had questions. Leadership? Do I want to be a leader of integrity? What does it mean to be a leader anyway in this church? And I felt like I was in Cheonggpyeong. There's a lot of dedicated Japanese people praying, devotion, and I just told myself, I can't lead this. I'm not a leader of these people, That's what I felt. And I don't do enough hundoke. I don't pray. I don't, I'm not like Jorge. And public speaking is leader being standing in front of a podium, giving reports and stuff. I can't do that. I don't do public speaking. And the more and more I thought about it, I thought, my wife is right. It's a trap. I'm going to end up like these guys in front of a banner someday. So here I am, Cheonggpyeong. It's hot. 21 days doing my time. I kind of felt like Cheonggpyeong, it's supposed to be the ideal, but I felt like it was like a prison almost. They had security cameras everywhere, security guards telling us go to here, go there, and the metal trays in the cafeteria. I was like, okay, I'm doing my time, 21 days, I'm going to tough this out. And do the ansu. I figured out how to do this. At first I was kind of weirded out by it, but then I realized, if you treat it like an exercise, a 1-hour workout, you get your heart beating, and you become very spiritual. Like your heart beats. I think you become present to your heart beating. So like I felt at that time, I was like, okay, I'm in Korea. I had nowhere to go but like within myself, you know. So Dr. Kim said, you know, you should never give a sermon without having Hundoke there. So I'm going to root my whole thing on Hundoke. So this is on the original mind in the Cheonsangya. You should set aside some time to experience the joy of being with your original mind. It may seem to others as if you are all alone, but in fact, you are becoming a friend to this mind. Sit down in a tranquil place and meditate. Enter a state of deep prayer. Then you will enter a world deep within, a world that no one else can know. You need to have such experiences. When you pray, you have to do it focusing on your original mind. How often do you act in the way of this mind desires? No matter how much you call upon God, it is no use if you ignore your original mind. Always ask your original mind for answers. Instead of asking your parents, ask your eternal conscience. Your conscience will tell you before your parents do. You can leave your parents, but you cannot leave your mind. You can leave your teachers, but you cannot leave your mind. You can leave your Lord, but you cannot leave your mind. It is a great sin to ignore your original mind, which leaves in attendance to these three great subject partners. Doing so is to ignore your parents, your teachers, and God, the Lord of the universe. To ignore your original mind is to ignore these three as well. So I thought that was an interesting quote, you know. The really good thing about Cheonpyeong is it may be like a prison, but you guys watch Walking Dead, you know? Actually, prison is one of the safest places to be during a zombie attack, you know? Like, it keeps the zombies away, and you can focus on your survival. So, I mean, I think in a similar sense, Cheonpyeong provides a really safe space to be spiritual, you know? To focus on your original mind, to really experience God. You've got the beautiful nature. Here's Milhan enjoying it. So I once heard, you know, a story where a second gen asked Father, how do you become perfect? And Father said, oh, that's really simple. You just have to devote your whole mind and your heart to God and love God. That's how you become perfect. The challenge is staying that way. So, you know, since I was out in Cheonpyeong, I had time to myself, no distractions. I tried like 1 hour going up in this prayer thing and just like being present to God for 1 hour. And I couldn't do it. It was probably like 10 minutes in, I started looking at the ants on the floor. And you know? So back to the workshop. We had Korea, Japan, America. America brought 70 people, even though we were asked to do 40. Europe, UPA. Your mother said, more Americans, more responsibility. So more blessing, more responsibility. So we had a total of 190, and we're organized, they organized us like in this tribe, clan, family situation. So it's like tribal messiahship, 190 people. So we had families, and then we had clans and tribes. All of us were a tribe. So different colored clans, blue clan, green clan, red clan, orange clan. And America, we bought all these aviator glasses from Tom Cruise, you know, Top Gun. That'd be a cool gift, so we bought them. They loved it. So this is us, this is the group. And the first thing they did was we went out on a pilgrimage. You know, the UPA prepared a great pilgrimage. We visited 9 locations the first week. And so the first time we started off here. We got on a bus. Have you all been on the God's Hope for America tour? So it was kind of like that, but international. It was really cool. Like you got different countries in Korea. Got to share testimonies. So this is the first stop, the Paju Wanjan Unification Church Special Burial Ground. So this is the place where all true children were buried and true family. It's a very spiritual place. Lots of deep prayers. Okay, I'm just going to go quickly. Next, we went to Changpadang. This was the first headquarters in Seoul, and we got to sit in the very room where Father gave his, you know, early lectures. It's very cool. Next, Hanamdang. And every night we stayed at a spa. You know, you can stay at a king spa type place. We had a lot of food, a lot of shiku, a lot of time to eat, yummy dishes, making me hungry. Okay. Make me thirsty, too. Sorry. I've always wanted to drink one of these. Fancy cups. Side of the stage. So, during the pilgrimage, we found out that we're going to meet with Mother after the pilgrimage, and we had to prepare a song. Each clan had to prepare a song. So the Orange Clan, we had Koreans, Japanese, and Europeans, and Americans. You really get to see their character, like on what kind of song you have to sing. The Koreans wanted to sing "You Raise Me Up" because Mother loves that song. So it's like, okay, we'll raise it. We'll sing that song. We all united and we sang "You Raise Me Up." But then we found out that everybody's going to sing "You Raise Me Up," so we had to change the song. And then we started fighting over which song to sing, and it was a disaster. Like, and then it was one UPA cadet. Her name is Yana from Europe. She was like, "Listen, guys, it doesn't matter what song you sing or how you sing it. It all matters about the heart. Your mother's going to see your heart and whether or not you're united. That's what she wants to see. That's why she brought us all together." So with that, we all decided to sing "Stand By Me," and we worked really hard. And it was a big breakthrough. I think music, one thing I learned, music can really bring cultures together in all our differences. Koreans are really good at creating events and structure. They're amazing. I like creating an event like that, stadium stuff. And then I think the Japanese, their strength is in unity, They can really, when they see a vision, they unite around it. And the Americans, they're not really good at anything. No, sure. No, I think Americans are pretty creative. We can think outside the box, and we can bring that outside thinking. So here's me visiting a temple, and we're going around. Now we're heading down south. This is Yosu, and lots of prayer, group prayer. Here's Mari leading the prayer. And then I think this was a big breakthrough. We started grabbing people and throwing them into the water. Enjoying the water together, running together. Before this, up to now, it was like very traditional, and then music was kind of breaking the ice a little bit, and then when we got in the water, we're like, oh, we're all brothers, it's all right, come on, let's go. So here's the map. We're down there, Yosu. And next stop was Busan. And we read about this this morning, right? The original church hut Father built with ration boards and the original stone. So this is where it all happened. And it's really cool to see because you can actually see the stones. You can see what it was like. You physically be there. I think it's a really valuable experience for any second gen who want to know where you come from, the roots. It's like this is where it all started. Humble hut where he's just writing with his pencil. And I think a lot of people had really deep experiences there, praying on the rocks, touching the rocks that Father prayed on. And we reached the top of the mountain, and this is where I'm at the peak of our mountain, right? We started up from the top, and with the peak, you have a view, right? So this was the view at Busan. You can see out. And I remember when I was there, I was like thinking, wow, this is the same view Father had many times coming up, praying, looking out. And he could have easily just become a, successful church leader in Busan, right? But he didn't choose to see just that little town. He saw beyond that. He saw America, he saw Europe, he saw Korea, he saw Japan, right? And I thought it was really profound just because he had that one vision to go beyond, that we are here now, leaders, young leaders from Korea, Japan, right? It's like, if he never had that vision, we wouldn't be there, So I thought that was a really profound experience for me. And here's a little quote from Father. "My personality was such that I had to know about everything I could see. I couldn't just pass over something superficially. I would start thinking, I wonder what the name of that mountain is. I wonder what's up there. I had to go see for myself. While still a child, I climbed the tops of all mountains that were in a 5-mile radius of our home. I went everywhere, even beyond the mountains. That way, when I saw a mountain shining in the morning sun, I could have an image in my mind of what was on that mountain, and I could gaze at it in comfort. I hated even to look at places I didn't know. I had to know about everything I could see. And even what was beyond. Otherwise, my mind was so restless that I couldn't endure it. So I think when we reached the top of the mountain, like the spiritual mountain, I think a lot of us had many visions of what we could do, what we could achieve. All the Top Gun candidates, like people wanted to unite North and South Korea. They had these huge, grandiose ideas and dreams because they could see, right? Oh, we're going to do that. Towards the end, we really walked the course, and then we got back to Champyong, and we had a 7-day DP workshop. I want to give credit to the 3 great presenters, Jerry Servito, Reverend Compton, Kevin Thompson. They gave really good lectures, and if you want to hear them, there's going to be an IPEC 7-day workshop in November. Let's go quickly through this. This is more the intellect, you know. The beginning was just emotion. We're getting to know each other, and now we're learning the principle and the theology. Here's Pastor Manoj and Carson, good-looking people. Okay, and then this is one day before we had to sing for Mother. We had to prepare a song. So we had a group song, You Raise Me Up, and everyone had their individual songs. We all got dressed up in our snazzy clothes, sharp, right? You know, I covered a lot of church events before. I'm a photographer, video guy. I work with Toshi and the team. And I felt something was different about this meeting with Mother. You know, usually when there's a gathering, a church event, there's something very stiff about it. There's always like, you know, leaders giving the MC, and it's just like so formal. But this, I felt like that barrier was gone. Mother was just like so happy to see us. You know, I've never seen her so happy in the past 3 months, just to see the young people in a room. She gave us hamburgers and pizza. This is the first time it's ever been served in the palace. Delicious, making me hungry and thirsty. Sorry. All right, so we sang our songs, did a really good job, and we on our way down the mountain. So the third part of this workshop, we had goal setting and leadership training. So the idea was really to set goals for your life and what you want to achieve. Here's a little quote from Father: godly goals. You must set your own goals and live according to those goals. You must live your life in a way that God can move with you and history can move with you. But if you're set on your own goals and live your life according to secular standards, Satan will invade you. The matter is decided based upon what your goals are. Life goals approved by the secular world will not do. They must be life goals that are approved in the realm of heart. So I think, you know, there's a lot of goal-setting seminars and these things, but I thought this was different because, like, we're dealing with, like, God and spirituality, and it's like the biggest goal you can possibly. I don't think anybody thinks bigger than Father, right? In terms of the goals that we have to achieve and what we have to do to save the world, and you know, so this was a really interesting experience. Like, we're setting goals of how we want to live with God, you know, and serve the providence. So we heard some really great testimonies of Bohi Pak. Dr. Bohi Pak spoke. Amazing man of faith. He spoke about his time during the Danbury times, and he showed videos of him speaking at court. Yeah, something I could never do, but he earned a lot of respect. Heard more lectures, more friends, saw some karate, and became best friends for life. We'll see. Yeah, so then we started wrestling. There was a boys' night, girls' night. Boys' night, they decided to wrestle and throw each other around. Girls were listening to Yananim and talking. We had Peace Road. Quickly. Okay, and then it all culminated to the 3rd anniversary Sangwa. This is where we paid our respects. We sang a song, we watched a musical, jumped on a plane, went home. And the return home. So, here's me coming down the mountain, my wife and kids. They've been away from me for a month. She's been stressing. And I just want to take this time to thank the spouses of the leaders. It's not easy. So thank you. And my sermon is called After You Climb the Mountain, right? So a lot of times we go to workshops, we get high, and then we come down, and then now we're back to reality. And it's really easy to lose inspiration quickly, right? So that's the interesting thing about inspiration. You're like, let's do it. And if you don't act on it, it goes away. And then you become depressed a little bit, like, I couldn't do it. So it's important to act on your inspirations. And it's important to think big, but at the same time, it's important to be realistic, because I've seen many times where people have these great ideas and they're trying to do the big thing without taking the small steps, right? And sometimes smaller steps can inspire even more to take the next step and next step and next step. So that's what I want to share with you. Like, we had huge inspirations. For me personally, when I got back, I was like, okay, I'm used to getting little sleep, waking up early. My body was used to it. And I woke up, I found myself waking up in the morning and like, normally I'd be climbing a mountain and, sitting around, thinking about my life and original mind. And I just asked myself, why do I have to stop doing that just because I'm back in New Jersey, So my heart didn't feel at ease, like something was like, we had this great experience, now we're back to reality. Here's a little quote. What is your heart's final destination? Where can it settle? Even when you have found God and made him yours, your heart will not want to rest there. Your heart's final destination is where you possess not only God, but also his love. If you fail to possess his love, everything will be in vain. What is the final purpose of life? The issue is not whether you can meet God at the center of heaven. It is whether you can live together with him. It's whether or not you can stay together with him, just like Father. You can meet him, but staying together is the tough part, right? And what kind of place can we meet him and live with him? That core place is the place of his love. Therefore, the greatest aspiration of the human conscience is to follow heavenly fortune, become one with God, and possess his love. So lately, I decided, I missed the spiritual atmosphere that Champyong provided. I was like, it doesn't really exist here in New Jersey. But then, just down the road, there's this really beautiful creek. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this a holy ground. I'm gonna call it Chungshim Creek. It's called Overpeck Park. And I would wake up in the morning and just watch the sunrise, and run and get my heart beating, just like I did in Champyong. And the one thing I realized is every morning is different. The sun rises and it just looks different every morning. And it's beautiful. I took photos just to prove it. Here's one morning, pink clouds. And then next, this is the autumn, it's the same place. So the point I want to make is that the sun looks different depending on the atmosphere. If God is the sun, right, and the atmosphere makes all the difference of what God looks like, how can he be present, right? So I want to read this quote. A magnet plus pole and together a magnet minus pole attract each other. Even if paper or some other insulating material is placed between them, they continue to attract each other despite the obstruction. The thicker the insulation material is, the weaker the attraction between them. If the insulation becomes too thick, the magnet's attraction appears to be lost, yet their poles still radiate the same attractive forces. In the same way, because the fall, there's a thick obstruction between God and human beings. Yet while it appears that the fall completely blocked the relationship between them, the conscience always exerts an attractive force towards God. When a layer of the obstacle is laid aside, the attraction becomes stronger. As the layers of obstruction are removed one by one, the magnet becomes stronger and stronger. When all the obstruction is removed, their communication becomes perfect. At that point, people will know everything that God knows, even without being instructed. It's really interesting. Becoming, the atmosphere makes all the difference. So I think that's why I realized the importance of church and, these holy atmospheres, to allow God, it gets rid of that insulation, right? That blocks you. So, The other point I want to get across is persevering. Some mornings it's like, it's just so cold and I don't want to go out. It's not beautiful. I'm like, oh, what's the point? Here's a little good quote on persevering. Persevering and overcoming means you must patiently endure. No one likes to patiently endure. However, we must do so, even if it requires unbelievable effort. It is difficult because human beings were not originally meant to patiently endure hardship. People have to patiently endure because of the fall. It is because we must offer restitution. In fact, didn't our first ancestors fall because they failed to patiently endure? So to restore this through indemnity, we have no choice but to patiently endure. That is the rule of indemnity. Satan is helpless in front of those who persevere, and in the end, he will surrender to them. So be patient and endure until the very end. It is for this reason that God, our Father, has endured everything for 6,000 years. We have inherited his heavenly character and his flesh and blood, so we must become like him. Therefore, our philosophy of life is this fallen world has to be one of patience and endurance. It is for God. The ways of filial piety and loyalty start from this. It is where the movement to liberate the nation, the world begins. That liberated world will be a place that both the good world and the bad world will welcome, and thereby hell will disappear. That is why, under this principle, we must patient and endure. Okay, keep going. Patiently enduring. So this is Benji, and we decided, he was on a Top Gun workshop, and Damien, Milhan, there's like 40 of us, and we're on Facebook, and we're chatting, and like one idea I had, like, hey, let's just ride our bike, let's just try something extreme, like let's ride our bike from New Jersey to work. It took 3 hours, and our legs were tired, but it was cool, we supported each other. And so these are my lessons learned from this mountain climbing. And I know you have bad eyes, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right. So lessons learned. So the preparation, mountains will come in your life. We are all faced with mountains. There's always something that comes. And I think we're all on a mountain, right? Whether we're on the mountain, we're just thinking about getting on, or we're coming down a mountain. I think we're all on the mountain together. And the providence of restoration, it's a mountain range, right? Where you have to climb up, go down, and you have to move forward. So the climb, I learned the importance of spiritual atmosphere, or healthy spiritual life. Get to know your original mind. And music has the power to unite. And at the peak, when you